You need to stop going and deleting your pets. You heard me correct. You know this whole trading system where you go and trade in your old pets and in return, you go and get an egg. For example, I have gone and permanently released 14 Hop Bops. That's right, 14 of these little pets that you can no longer go and get that pretty much have no value. I sacrificed to the Adopt Me gods, and these will now be deleted. They'll run into the distance and never be seen again. In return, I go and get a little egg. So what is the issue with going and releasing pets in the game? Well, you might notice that some Adopt Me legendaries are absolutely hated. For example, the Metal Ox. This is a legendary that honestly is one of the most hated pets in the game. Another example is the Minion Chick, a pet that basically every single player got one for free and probably got a bunch on their alt accounts, meaning that this pet has basically no value. So, people, because they know it's got no value, they will go and whack these in the machine, okay? You go and get 810 points. That's a great deal. 810 points. Well, the thing is, there's a catch. Now you see, because everybody hates this pet, everybody hates the Minion Chick. So, every single player is going and deleting these pets. And you know what that means? That there won't be any left. Look, if every single player goes and releases every single Minion Chick, you know what that means? Then there's no Minion Chicks left to go and trade for. There's none in the game if you go and release all of them. Theoretically, I could go and try and collect every single Shadow Dragon in the game. I could then go and release all of them apart from one, and then I would have the only Shadow Dragon in the world. Now imagine I did that with Minion Chicks. I went and got every single Minion Chick. Or everyone deletes their Minion Chicks and that leaves me with the biggest collection of them. Because yeah, that's possible. Everyone's going and releasing pets, meaning that there's less of that pet. Now, I think people aren't really factoring that in when they go and do value trades now. You see, value is based off of the demand, how many are available, and if it looks good or not. You see, the Minion Chick doesn't really meet many of that criteria. There's a ton of them readily available. However, there is no data on how many of these pets have been sacrificed. But what I can tell you is that the first thought when people go into this machine is they go and delete a pet that they don't care about. They'll go and release a pet that is easy to obtain, that they've probably got a bunch of. In fact, hey, I could go and release some of the rarest pets possible if I wanted to, like this Mega Dimorphodon. I could go and sacrifice that, which would be a very dumb decision. Please, no one go and do this. Basically, what I'm saying, it's not actually worth going and sacrificing your high tier pets. Or in fact, pretty much any legendary, I wouldn't say it's worth going and doing. Another example, the Gloomy Dolphin, a pet that so many people absolutely hate, and it doesn't maintain much value. What's gonna happen if every person goes and sacrifices them? In fact, I have like 100 of these, so let's just see, add 99. Actually, I'm curious, how many points would I get? 80,000 points. Whoa, is that a lot? Is this what 99 Gloomy Dolphins look like? I'd end up with 80,000 points. That's not really a good deal, to be honest. I'm not sure I want that. I'm better off trading each one for something else, to be honest, or just giving them away for free to my subscribers. In fact, I would very much prefer to go and just give away these things for free to my subscribers than I would to go and sacrifice it to the gods of the Adopt Me portal, where in return for going and hatching it, I'll probably just get a worse thing that I sacrificed in the first place. The only thing that's good out of this is the Emberlight. I love this pet. I want this pet. I have not even seen one in the game. I have not seen one of them. I have managed to go and get a giant panda and check out the trade offers, but I have not seen one Emberlight. What's the value of an Emberlight? Around 10 ride potions. In fact, it would have been easier for me to go and trade 10 Gloomy Dolphins for an Emberlight than it is to go and sacrifice 100 in hopes of going and getting one myself. So we're going to go and attempt to hatch one of these eggs right now, the crystal egg, see if we go and get any luck going and getting the Emberlight. Imagine I actually do, then I will take back everything I said and say that you guys should sacrifice every single pet that you own. Has this gone and impacted the game? Well, it does mean that all of these pets that people hate on are actually increasing in value. You see, there's a new value added to the game called a scrap value. It doesn't matter if the pet is cute or not, as long as it's a mega neon, then you will go and get a ton of scrap value. That's right, we're making up new values now in Adopt.me, and the community's going crazy. So what is scrap value? Well, scrap value is just what it's worth when you go and scrap it or go and release that pet into the wild and never go and get it back. So a mega neon dog has actually increased in value because you could go and like scrap it and go and get a crystal egg. So they've gone and increased in value of random old mega neons and commons that typically don't have much value, are now worth more because of the scrap value is pretty high. Obviously, it's the same if I go and trade in a mega neon metal ox than it is if I go and trade in a mega shadow dragon, which makes no sense. I feel like there should be some other aspect, because how is a mega ox worth the same value as a mega shadow dragon? Like, that makes no sense. Also, this is the final task. I have 2x pet aging. I do not have any aging or special luck, actually. The odds of getting a legendary are 6%, also known as 1 in 17. I've only ever hatched one of these crystal eggs, so I'm not really expecting to get a legendary out of this one. 1 in 1000 to go and get the giant panda, and what do we go and get? A Grimoire. That's not terrible. I don't mind this pet. It actually costs quite a bit of bucks. It's an ultra rare, not something I'd normally go and get, so it's kind of fun to actually hatch a Grimoire, to be honest. I like that. Could have been worse. Could have been better. We could have got the Ember Light or the giant panda, which is worth so much. But basically what I'm saying, if you play Adopt.me and you have a bunch of minion chicks or a bunch of metal oxes, I would not recommend going and deleting them, because that's what everyone is currently doing. And once everyone goes and deletes the pets, then there's not many left. And if there's something in the game that not many of them exist, then it means the value increases. So if you want a bunch of value, honestly, just keep onto your terrible pets or the ugly legendaries that no one wants. Now let me give you a list of ugly legendaries that are statistically going and getting scrapped the most. Starting off, the Metal Ox. So many people are deleting this pet. That is the first pet that people are going and sacrificing into the machine, is a Metal Ox. Don't do it. Hold on to it. This pet is like 5 years old. I don't know how it's not increased in value, but it is now, because so many people are deleting this pet that there's less of them available. And if there's less of something available, more people want it, and the value increases. The next pet is a Dracula Parrot. Again, another example. So many people got this. They got tons of them. They could have got a bunch every single day. The next pet, the Gloomy Dolphin. Need I say more? In fact, I have 110 of these. Or over that, because this is a stack of 108. Don't go and sacrifice it. It's worth 800 points if you sacrifice this pet. That's not worth it, okay? Why sacrifice a legendary for 800 points when instead I could go right back on over and trade in, for example, like let me give you an example. This is worth 810 points, okay? That sounds not great, especially when you need 4,500 to get one egg, which is wild, because that's really not a good correlation. Like, giving that many legendaries to go and get an egg, which will only give you a 6% chance to get a legendary back, isn't a great deal to start with. An ultra rare gives you 270, but where this thing gets interesting is when we go and look at commons, okay? So, for example, a Mega Neon Common is worth 10,000. A Mega Common is worth more than 10 legendaries. I cannot go and trade 10... I can trade like 3 legendaries for a Mega Common, okay? That's what it's worth. But the scrap value is crazy high. It's really high. It doesn't matter, okay? Same with a Neon. It's way better to go and get a Neon than it is to just trade in a regular one, okay? 200 for a regular, trade in a Neon, 2,400. You are better off going and getting a Mega Neon Common and sacrificing that than you are trading in your legendaries. So if you've got tons of pets, do it for a pet that's still in the game. I don't advise going and sacrificing a pet that you can't go and get anymore. my best advice is what you do if you want to get this machine. It's not the best machine. I made a separate video the other day showing you the odds if you're in the UK or if you're under a certain age. It's pretty bad. Adopt.me did respond to that, and they might be going and updating it, so let's go. What I advise you do is don't go and scrap pets that aren't available. You're better off going and trading these pets and holding on to them. The scrapping system is only good if you have a ton of pets that are still in the game. So I wouldn't go trading 110 Frankenfelines in. What I would go and do is release a bunch of dogs, because I already have a bunch of dogs. These things are worth nothing to me, no one wants them, and they're basically pointless. What I can go and do is trade in a mega cat. Is it worth it? That's up to you. A mega cat is 10,000 points, which is the equivalent of 2 crystal eggs. 2 crystal eggs is worth around 2 ride potions. But what is a mega cat worth? Well, according to a value website, a mega neon cat is worth 1 ride potion. So in some circumstances, you are better off going and trading in your mega cat to get 2 crystal eggs. But don't hatch the crystal eggs, trade them. Each crystal egg is worth around 1 legendary. So by going and scrapping your mega neon cat, instead of trading it, if you trade it, you get around 1 ride potion. If you scrap it, then you get 2 crystal eggs, and each crystal egg is worth a ride potion. So you just doubled your value. So in some scenarios, you can use it to your advantage to literally double the value of your inventory. Scrap your mega cats and your mega dogs, because that's the only thing worth scrapping. Anything else, I really wouldn't advise it. It's only for people with a crazy inventory. In fact, my inventory is, what, 30,000, by the way? And I'm still not going to scrap many things because it's just not worth it, okay? It's really, really not worth scrapping that many stuff. Also, please allow me to scrap toys, not just pets. My inventory is flooded with toys that I just don't want. I'd love for this same feature to be made into gifts. Is it worth going and doing? You can get some legendaries, and you can get the giant panda. It's worth it if you get the giant panda, but as I said, it's a 1 in 1,000 odds. Or the Ember Light is a, what are the odds? How many legendaries are there? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have to go, let me just pull up the odds of hatching that. So we do 5.9 and divide that by 13, which brings us to a 0.45% chance. Also known as around 1 in 200 crystal eggs give you an Ember Light. As a heads up, as a reference, that is pretty slow odds on 1 in 200 to go and get the Ember Light, which is why this thing does have a lot of value. It's cute, and that's why I don't have one yet, because the odds are over 1 in 200. So good luck, guys, and let me know what you are scrapping in the comment section, or if you're not doing it at all, because some people just think, what's the point? Why scrap these pets like your legendaries and in return hatch a common? Like, it's just not worth hatching the commons out of it, right? There's just no point. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1.1 million, and you should subscribe right now, because I said so. And press the button on the screen to watch another video that I think you'll like to watch next.